Unable to get critical parts, at least 28 GM plants have been forced to shut down. For Free Speech Radio News, I'm Doug Cunningham.
And those are the headlines. I'm Shannon Young.
Barack Obama responded today to the political firestorm surrounding the religious leader at his church. Videos of Reverend Jeremiah Wright of Trinity United Church of Christ, the largest African-American church in Chicago, have surfaced on YouTube, in which he made comments like, "Goddamn America." In a speech given in Philadelphia, Obama spoke about race in America.
I have already condemned, in unequivocal terms, the statements of Reverend Wright that have caused such controversy and in some cases pain. For some, nagging questions remain. Did I know him to be an occasionally fierce critic of American domestic and foreign policy? Of course. Did I ever hear him make remarks that could be considered controversial while I sat in the church? Yes. Did I strongly disagree with many of his political views? Absolutely. Just as I'm sure many of you have heard remarks from your pastors, priests, or rabbis with which you strongly disagree.
Obama did not disassociate himself from Wright, saying the Reverend has been an important part of his life, marrying him and his wife and baptizing their children. Instead, Obama moved on to bluntly address many racial realities within America.
Legalized discrimination, where blacks were prevented, often through violence, from owning property, or loans were not granted to African American business owners, or black homeowners could not access FHA mortgages, or blacks were excluded from unions, or the police force, or the fire department, meant that black families could not amass any meaningful wealth to bequeath to future generations. That history helps explain the wealth and income gap between blacks and whites and the concentrated pockets of poverty that persist in so many of today's urban and rural communities.
He said African Americans are not the only people suffering from economic despair that can lead to racial tensions.
In fact, a similar anger exists within segments of the white community. Most working and middle-class white Americans don't feel that they've been particularly privileged by their race. Their experience is the immigrant experience. As far as they're concerned, no one handed them anything. They built it from scratch. They've worked hard all their lives, many times only to see their jobs shipped overseas or their pensions dumped after a lifetime of labor. They are anxious about their futures, and they feel their dreams slipping away. And in an era of stagnant wages and global competition, opportunity comes to be seen as a zero-sum game in which your dreams come at my expense. So when they are told to bus their children to a school across town, when they hear an African American is getting an advantage in landing a good job or a spot in a good college because of an injustice that they themselves never committed, when they're told that their fears about crime in urban neighborhoods are somehow prejudice, resentment builds over time.
Obama says a difficult discussion on race has been brewing and must eventually happen.